What's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I wanted to make this quick video. There is a new release of debt on the market, and I'm going to stop mentioning the company names because when I loaded up one of my videos today, it there were some problems loading it up because I had mentioned company names, and we all know that companies also advertise here on YouTube, so we have to be very careful. But these are debt collectors who are looking to buy debt, and this is an email that I just received. So I want to make this video because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be within this bundle here. Now, uh, this here is the portfolio, and you can see the different banks. This is a uh, department store, jewelry store, auto loans. This is probably a credit card, and we all know who this company is. And the principal amount is $231 million, 18,838 accounts. Average charge-off date is 10/5/2008. Average balance is $12,103. So these are some huge balances. You can see why a debt collection company would take a chance on this. We all know that, except for in one state, statute of limitations has ran out on this debt. But I want to show it to you because they don't put this out on the market. If people did not uh, if people did not know their rights and were not paying these would not be worth anything. They wouldn't be worth anything. So a lot of people always say to me, no one pays for any debt that's past statute of limitations. Well, here's a portfolio, and let's just say that they buy this portfolio for $10,000 to get $231 million in bad debt, 18,000 accounts. Just think if only 1,000 of the 18,000 people paid, this amount or even paid a smaller amount or got garnished and they were getting garnished $100 a month for 1,000 people. That's $10,000 a month income, and they're going to get all of it if they're garnishing someone. So I make these videos because you got to know that when you receive any letters from a debt collection company that's saying that you owe a debt from an original creditor, the first thing you need to do is to check to see if that debt is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. I'm going to show you how to do it right after I show you this next portfolio. Here's another group here from national banks. You got these, you got this company right here, major credit card. These are probably all major credit cards, 2000, well, 41 million, $41.5 million in bad debt, 2,962 accounts. Average charge off date is 11/2/2007. Average balance $14,000. And now, one thing that caught my attention with this company right here, you see this one, I'm not going to mention the name, is we do settlements with this company. They don't sell their debt. They usually have it hire a debt collector to collect on this debt. They'll do a lot of things, and then last thing that they'll do is they'll settle on the debt because they know that if they put it in a portfolio like this, they're only going to get pennies on the dollar. So I'm very suspicious with this debt here, and that makes me very suspicious about all of the debt in this group. This debt could potentially be in a 1099-C and already with a debt cancellation 1099-C to the IRS. And then they're trying to sell it to a debt collection company that's willing to go out there and take a chance on it. And they're not double dipping, but they're in a way double dipping because they sold this portfolio to the major portfolio company, and then they're going to resell it to debt collection companies. So I'm very wary about this one here because they normally will. Uh, hold on to their debt, hire a third party collection company, and then they'll settle before they, they don't even, from all the times we dealt with them, they just would settle on the debt, because if they're going to get 20% or 15% or whatever percent, it's going to be more than what they're going to get selling it to a debt collection company. So I'm very suspicious about this entire portfolio. So before I move on about what you can do about this, is I want to review what happens when you get a 1099-C debt cancellation form from the IRS. That's when the original creditor has done a full write-off. They send that document to the IRS. The IRS uh, considers that money that you didn't pay them back as income, so you would have to file that on your taxes as additional income. Now you can get a waiver where you don't have to pay on it, but you're still going to have to file it because they're going to consider it as additional income. But the thing about it is, once they do that, they cannot collect on that debt. It's all over. It's over with. They can't resell it. It's 100% over with. That's why I'm very suspicious about this group of portfolios here, because a lot of people may not know their rights. So if you have a 1099-C that was given to you, you received it from the IRS or you received it from the original creditor, they're stating that they canceled the debt and that you're going to have to consider that as income on your taxes. uh, then that's what happens when you get a 1099-C sent, and they cannot collect on it. They cannot, original creditor can't collect on it, and they cannot sell it to a debt collector. So now, step number one, what you do is when you receive that letter from a third party debt collector saying that they're trying to collect on the debt, if you notice it, it's going to have where you can dispute the debt. I'm going to see if I can find one of those letters real quick. Blurred up for some reason on my computer. I'm moving some stuff to another computer, and looks like one of my files might have been misplaced, that has some sample collection letters that we received from clients. But I didn't want to, I got to get moving on some other stuff. But step number one that you do is, if you read the letter, you will notice that somewhere at the bottom it'll say that you have a right to dispute a part of the debt or a part of what they're claiming, or all of it, and you state your reasons, and that you have 30 days to do it. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to know if this debt was something that you really, maybe you don't remember, maybe you do. If it is something, or if it isn't, for next thing you do is you want to look at uh, when that debt was charged off. See if it is something that's on your reports. You look at it, more than likely it was something that you had, it was charged off. So you want to look at the original charge off date. Once you find the original charge off date, that's when the clock starts ticking to see if the statute of limitations will hold for you not having to pay this debt legally, to where that you don't have to do anything but just notify them that you know that this debt is past legal statute of limitations. And so once you know that if it is, then you just send them a letter notifying them. You don't need to talk about the debt. You don't need to talk about nothing. You just notify them that you know that the debt is past legal statute of limitations. If you happen to talk to them, they catch you on the phone and they say something like time barred. Time barred is the same as statute of limitations. They have to tell you legally, if they get you on the phone and the debt is past the legal statute of limitations to collect, they have to legally, according to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that they have to tell you that the debt is time barred, and that means that it is past the statute of limitations, and you legally don't have to pay it. But they're not going to call you and say, "Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Johnson, the debt that I'm calling you about is past the legal statute of limitations. You don't have to pay it, but you want to go ahead and pay it." They're not going to call you that way. So they had their lobbyists get the word time barred placed into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and not have to say that you don't have to pay it. That would have been the words to actually put in there. So if it's not, if it's past legal statute of limitations, you just have to notify them. If it's not past legal statute of limitations, the game is not over, the game is just getting started. Then you have to go with a process of where you make them prove every aspect of the debt. And the first thing that I would send is a cease and desist collection activities letter, which has a portion of a debt validation, but it also has a line in there that requires where you'll actually ask, did an attorney review everything that they're stating? So they're claiming that you owe a debt. It's from an original creditor. Did an attorney review it to make sure that everything was correct? You'll notice that they will also state in that line that you can uh, uh, dispute a portion or all of the debt. That also says that attorney has not reviewed this file, or this your file. Reason why on that is because if the attorney, as an officer of the court, reviews it in with all the information that he or she has gotten, that's the only way that they can move forward. But when they're in this early process, they're not going to do that. They're just going to buy the debt, and then they're going to push it out there, and they're going to see who responds, and then they're going to start making their determinations on if they're going to move forward with lawsuits, or if they're going to just keep trying to call and collect the money. With these large amounts, these large balances, you better bet that they're going to really try hard to get people to pay up on it. And, they can call them up, say you owe 14,000. How about we settle it for half? The person don't want to have their credit ruined. They don't want to go to court because they just don't want to miss any time with work. They spent all their time rebuilding their credit, rebuilding their life. You can see how if a person gets that phone call, how to disrupt everything that they have been working on over a period of time, rebuilding their credit. And they just don't want to start over. So they can make the wrong decision without even knowing their rights. So that's why I make these videos over and over and over again, because if it hits you and you end up getting one of these, I want you to know what the next steps are. So step number one, check the state statute of limitations for your state. If you lived in another state when you accumulated that debt, check the statute of limitations for that state, look at which one works the best for you, and make them make a determination if they're going to want to allow that. Let them do it. More than likely, when you notify them that it's past the legal statute of limitation, they will usually just stop. Even if it's very close, they will usually just stop. The next uh, one is with the cease and desist. If it's not past the legal statute of limitations, you do the cease and desist because it's going to take it up a notch to make them have to make sure that they get everything to prove that everything is correct about that debt. Now, not to say that all of them are going to do it. Some of them might just proceed anyway because they don't expect you to keep continuing to go back and forth with them. So they might just say, keep going with it. But most will draw back because they're not going to want to go after someone who they think might put up a good fight with them. And then the next thing that you should do when they respond back, if they don't respond back to everything that you have in that cease and desist collection activities letter, then you're going to go back and forth, and you're going to be mainly doing making them answer the rest of those questions and forcing harder on them doing a debt validation. Now, you might be saying, well, where do I get these letters? How can I get that information? I give you all three of those letters below here for free, where you can get them, you can use them. You don't need to use all three. Use only the one that is pertaining to where you're at with your situation. Now, before I let you go, the statute of limitations for debt and the statute of limitations to remain on your credit is totally different. They're two different things. On your credit, if you don't do anything, it can stay on there for 7 years. Statute of limitations in some state is only 3 years that you have to actually pay a debt. Like California, if a debt is past 3 years, you don't have to pay it as long as you haven't paid anything and it's past the 3 years of the charge off date. So I take that back. As long as it's 3 years past the charge off date, not 3 years past when you open the account. And for credit card accounts, that statute of limitation is shorter in most states. So it could be 6 years for a written contract, like your automobile if you had it repossessed, but it could be 4 years or 3 years for a credit card debt. So make sure you understand and know what the statute of limitations are for your state, and it's different for almost all the states. Some of them are the same, but it is very different. Every state made their own law for statute of limitations on collecting debt. If you need to check that out, you can go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, go to my blog, type in the word statute of limitations. It'll take you to the page so you can see the statute of limitations for all 50 states. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. That displays our 8-point validation process and our two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, because you're going to need that to know when that charge-off date was. And another thing that I noticed that the free bureaus don't give you, the free report places don't give you, and some of the other paid ones don't give you, is in the comment section, if it's a charge-off, if it's written off, or canceled. It's very important to know the differences of the three. A charge off is when it was originally charged off. They can sell the debt or they can collect on the debt. They just have to put that charge off notification on there because that's an accounting, a necessity for their accounting, so they don't lie to their investors saying that your account or a charged off account or a person that's not making payments on an account anymore is a live and performing account. If it's written off or canceled, that's where you want to be very you want to be aware on all of them. But when it's charged, when it's written off and it's canceled, when you see that wording in the comments, that's when it potentially could have been sent to the IRS as a 1099-C cancellation of debt. And for some reason, with the delay, with the mail, the delay with staffing shortages, you may not even get that for, like, if say they did it right now, you may not even get that notification for 6 months. So that's how slow that's running, because they're going to send that to the IRS, and the IRS is going to send you a copy of that 1099-C cancellation of debt. If you see it on your credit reports, you could call the original creditor or write the original creditor and ask them did they do it, and to see if they still own the debt. You can do that if if it's something that you want to accelerate to find out what's going on with a written off account or a canceled account, and it can state canceled. All right, so I'm going to end the video here. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you for your